Thank you very much. We're going to go on now to Dawn Dodge, who is going to talk to us for 10 minutes about mobilizing women and the faith community to get out the vote. Dawn, do we have you?
Hi, everybody.
Okay, we can hear you and see you. Go right ahead.
Hi, thanks for having me. My name's Dawn Dodge, and I'm a local activist for about 10 years, grassroots activist. Just really glad to be here and share with you how to get out the vote for women, and with an emphasis, as you said earlier, on evangelicals. Well, my method is more of a micro level with a macro touch. There's different touch points. So the most important thing is relationship. Don't just go talk to them. And I've heard this in, different churches and places I participate that, oh, Republicans only come around when they want the vote. Isn't that sad? So I stay connected to people all year round. And I definitely tap into the influence that I have in my circles. I have connections in all spheres of influence. I feel that's more powerful. And I'm also working statewide as well as national. And so one of the ways I get out the vote is multiple touch points. What do I mean by that? Well, I speak to church communities. I speak to women's groups. I run a grassroots group here in Michigan online. There's like almost 6,000 people there. With no money, no funding, no help. It's just all real grassroots. We have connections that go to DC. One of the things we did was went out to DC to stand up against the illegal impeachment of the president. Why? Is because if they can do that to him, imagine what they can do to us, as Linda stated earlier. So we do it through relationship, through groups, through multiple touch points, through connections with other people, other groups. I don't try to do it all. There's people doing great work like Brian. It's amazing what he did with the auto workers, what Kay Carl's doing. So all of those things matter. And also what Paul was talking about, I do that a lot. So the different levels of engagement, the field director, we're more at the neighborhood team leader, but we also have connection to the field director and the regional. And Patrick, who was on here, I worked on his campaign briefly, and he kind of expanded my mind on that statewide approach. So once I make a connection, you're mine for life. I'm one of those people, Greek, Italian, you see how I'm moving my hands, and I really care about the people. That's what matters. And when it comes to evangelicals, especially in the faith community, we have something called discernment, or in the world, it's insight. So they can recognize a phony a mile away. So I really care about these people. And when I talk to them, I can influence them because they know that I'm telling them the truth. I'm often asked, why should we vote for this president or whoever it is? And I say, well, do you believe in life? I'll talk about issues. What kind of things do you believe in? Things that matter to that community. Do you want to be able to raise your family the way you want? Homeschoolers is a huge network, and I'm getting very involved with that. Those are great people, and often they didn't like some of the political spheres, so they would stay in their home, and I'd say, do you see how things are in reaching there? You're not going to be able to just hide in the house. And so some of them are engaging, and to me, they are, some strong people in the community. I also, I'm promoting a call tonight. Anybody interested, Evangelicals for Trump, go register on my page. So any group that's doing anything to do with God, I'm on it. I'm one of those people that are really sold out for Jesus. I identify as a Christ follower. So I will pray with anybody. It doesn't matter what denomination. That's also a benefit for me. I was on Catholics for Trump last night, sharing that link. I have nothing against any denomination. To me, we're all people of God. We have different beliefs. That's true. I know what the Bible says, but I know this: if we have love as our connection and we care about the people and the soul of that person more than the vote, that's going to come across. And then people call me and ask me, oh, are you sure, Dawn? And I say, now I can actually say, if they ask me about this president or anybody else, I can say, well, look what he's doing. Do you like what he's doing? Do you like what he's doing in that community? And they can actually say, well, yes, I never thought he'd do that. And you let them realize it on their own. And some of the things that I talk to the ladies about in particular, as a Propel Women leader under Christine Kane, who was under Joyce Meyer, is I say, what kind of things do you put in your mind? Part of it is turn the TV off, okay? Turn the TV off and get real sources of news. As Linda said, you guys are one of my front lines. If I have a question about policy, I'll call Patrick Colbeck. He knows a lot more than me. I am not going to read for a week to try to understand something. So every one of you are experts, and I know who to reach out to, and you guys can reach out to me for anything. If it's statewide, if it's national, I'll help anybody, even people that I haven't been close with. I don't care. We're all on the same team. Every single person in this room, we are on the same team, and I'm here for you. I don't care if you've done something to me. It doesn't matter. I'm sure I've done something to you too. I hope you forgive me for what I've done. So as an evangelical person, that has to be the approach, is the soul of the person and the person above the vote. Now, with that being said, what Paul said is key, because my first year I was exhausted trying to reach everyone and do everything. But when you see it in an organizational way, like this is the team leader, this is the field director, as the Republican parties and other parties do, Democrats, whatever. This is the regional field director. They section it off in states. When you look at a national perspective, it becomes so much more clear. And you tap the people that are influencing others in a positive way. I don't just want to tap people and try to manipulate. I honestly share information, and I want servant leaders that help the people. I don't want anybody that's hurting people or doing the wrong thing. So, you know, that's the thing that I prioritize. And you know, some of these people, I definitely have multiple in reach to all spheres of influence, but so do all of you. And I want to do something later on, as I said, with voter fraud. I know there's a lot of people doing it, but this guy that we're working with has a software. And so I'm going to be sharing with you that maybe it can be a component of what you all are doing. We need to work together as a team. You know, grassroots are assets, they're not threats. And we need to work together to accomplish our goals, because even though everyone's done great work in that area, it's still going on, isn't it? And part of it is because of the policies and the schemes of, you know, some of these people, that they are way ahead of us on this. You know, like when I was bringing, calling to arrange for my candidate to go down and turn in signatures, you should have seen the rules. I'm not allowed to go in there with my candidate. I'm not allowed to do this. There has to be an affidavit notarized. I mean, all of these hoops meant to keep people out of doing it correctly. You had to make an appointment. You could only make it during certain times. Most people wouldn't be able to do that. And then I said, well, what kind of document can you get? So I guess what I'm saying is, for evangelical inreach, it's all about relationship. They have to trust you, they have to believe, and you have to talk to them about their issues. And it's the same with any group of people, engineers that I work with, doctors, whoever it is, law enforcement. Just so you know, I'm a FLEO, a federal law enforcement officer's wife. So that's awfully important to me, is those policies, you know. And I'll give you an example. One of those policies is, if you look up my husband or me, and I worked for corrections for years as well, you can go right to our door. So if you're mad, you can just come right to our house and do whatever. And so we're working with the wives to try to put safer policies in place. And so I think policy perspective is more where I'm coming from. And the inreach for the evangelicals is, do you just want to be free? Because the Christians are being targeted more than anybody. They're being silenced, as Linda said, on the campus and everywhere. They're being made to believe that they're wrong. And just as Kay Carl mentioned, conservative is not bad, but when you don't know how to message and brand, it becomes bad. So we need components that include media. We need components that include everything that we lack. And as a team on this call, if we really think that way, I bet you we could come up with something that can equal or even surpass the dominance of that messaging, because we all have areas of expertise. But we will be getting out the vote. I'll be doing a tour as long as this, you know, a pandemic has passed, to get those ladies out, to get them there, because they want to vote. They know why now, and they don't look at it just as the candidate. They look at it as the issue for the church and for their families. They just want to be left alone, and they just want to love their family, and they just want to go to their church. Some of them want to make masks. So in all my grassroots groups, we buy elastic, we'll deliver it. We do things that the community needs. We let that dictate at the micro level. So those are just some of the methods. And one of the untapped populations that we're going after, and you're going to see, is the Christian concerts. Okay. Thousands of people are there. And there are people that I have connections with and all of that, that we're going to tap that so that we can talk to them, and we have one chance and one message to talk to them. And that can be a whole new voter base that we can reach right there, because they are more interested. hopefully most of them know God. And so there's ways to bring new voters in. We need to do that instead of preaching just to the choir. We need to bring in new people. Good to see all of the students here. I was planning to be at your U of M gala. I had 7 sponsors for you. Sorry you had to cancel. And MSU, I'm always over there supporting anything you guys do. That's one thing we have to do, is support the youth. I'm always here as a resource. So I just want to thank everybody, and I hope that gave some ideas, especially the music venue. That's an untapped resource, and there's thousands of people we can get there. So with that, I want to thank you. And if you want to reach me, it's dawn.ddodge_1@yahoo.com. I can send you, I'm working with at least 12 groups, some of the things that I'm doing, and you can let me know what you're interested in. Thank you.
Thank you, Dawn.